All right, and welcome back. This is the last round of Swiss in our March Mox Masters event. Our players to watch, of course, we talked about Comedian. He is at 3-1, still locked for top 16. In fact, the number one seeded player going into this round, very likely going to see him in the top 16. Alex Accepted fell to 1-3. I think he's out even with a win this round. And Lisby, who we've seen quite a bit of today, we're actually going to see in action here. Could not draw this round, so is going to have to play inside a pod with Shauna. I'm sorry, not Shauna Milano. With a pod with Takado, who is somebody we've seen multiple events of ours, usually playing different decks. I've seen Cody, I've seen plenty of Timna decks and everything. Today we're going to be piloting Timna Halana, I believe, where they win it into top 16. This entire pod win it into top 16. And with the players already underway, let's dive right in. We can talk a little bit about the players. There's 3 Timnas partnered with 3 different partners, and then a Kodama Sakashima deck. Okay, Ashani, give me the rundown. Who's favored in this Timna asymmetry that we have going on here?
As we said earlier throughout the day, I was saying, I like seeing my Timnas paired by Timna with something else, and we're seeing Timna in the top setting. Timna draws your cards, and Timna does Timna things. I love to see all the Timnas coming back out. But this pod is pretty interesting. We have Blue Farm. Don't think anything special or different about this Blue Farm list. Normal Blue Farm action. We have Timna Halana, some Hulk action. So some hit bears, slow down the game, and eventually try to put a Hulk package together. Kodama Sakashima. I haven't seen this list in a while. Normally, I like to call it the Blue Godo or the Civic Godo, because you normally just count to 10, get double Kodamas, and you're off to the races. You get some land ETBs to draw your deck, make infinite mana, and the rest is history. And we know Lisby. That top 4 got a pretty good run, master sequences through the turns. Definitely here going forth. Looking to take down, maybe get into the top 16. I think it's a very balanced pod. We had a turn 1 Imperial Seal, and it seems like a turn 1 Survival of the Fittest with a Gemstone 7 start from Takado.
Yeah, I mean, an impressive start for both these players, obviously involving tutors in both capacities. But I have to imagine, starting with 2 mana if you're Takado, got to be a pretty big deal. And if you're a Hulk deck, how important is it to get the survival going sooner rather than later?
Survival getting off the board is pretty quick, especially if you have the creature, the reanimate, and then eventually play the Halana as a sack outlet. It takes a little setup, but the good part of it is just having the survival down early.
Absolutely. And you're talking about the Kodama Sakashima deck counting to 10. A good card to get that started is certainly Soul Ring, which comes into play off of the breeding pool. And a good start from Lisby as well. We're seeing a City of Brass and a Mana Crypt. Not going to have as many of the color issues as we've seen Lisby having earlier on, but you mentioned going forth. Going to be a tough ask for Lisby to be able to slow this game down, but we've seen him do it in the past. And Ristic Study on turn 2 coming down for Ignacy here on Blue Farm.
Terrible card draw on the board. Oh,
terrible. Avon Mind Sensor going to go ahead and get cast here. A great counter to the onboard Survival of the Fittest for Takado, and getting that down before the Ristic hits means no cards given to Ignacy. Now, I mentioned Lisby was going to have a little bit of trouble slowing the game down. Now suddenly looks like we got it covered.
Already have it covered.
I like that.
Now Hulk lives have even become a lot more difficult. I think we're down here, but the good thing is, Halana in the command zone, you have a removal spell. So eventually we just need to get to 4 mana and a way to remove the Avon, and we're in business. Might take us some time, but depends on how quick this game is. But I don't think there's any super explosive deck here. I think the quickest thing might be Timna Krama, and as we see, we went for a turn 2 Ristic Study. So we might be here not too long, but we're definitely going to get into the midterms.
Well, if you talk about Timna decks, you talk about wanting to play a lot of turns of Magic the Gathering in order to leverage Timna. We see a Ranger Captain of Eos for Takado does help that with that mix. The search, of course, of May does not have to search, but obviously fairly free to do. And we are going to see Ancient Tomb plus Lotus Petal for Out of Whack. Going to allow Out of Whack to cast Kodama. So here we are starting the Kodama thing up right away. Does give 2 cards to Ignacy. So, already Ristic Study getting some card advantage going. And we will see the land's already played, so no triggers right away. So we're going right over to Lisby. Some quick magic being played here as Lisby appears to win the Mana Crypt roll and take a draw.
So what's your take on the Ristic Study? What's your take on respecting early Ristic Studies? Are you here to pay for Ristic Study triggers, or are you just here to? If they have it, they have it.
Context changes so much when you talk about cedh, but in this case where you have a lot of Tymna decks going around, I am more likely to be, if I am a Tymna deck, I want to respect Ristic Study because I want the game to go longer. I don't want, just feed, and then give Ignacy a bunch of cards, and I have to try to struggle to keep up. I want to give the table time. I want to give myself time, develop slower, get my Tymna in play, and not feed as much, and try to keep up on card advantage a little bit.
No, I totally agree with you. I think maybe here, if we can land another stack piece, but no, let's see, we're getting our own card draw online. The Ranger Captain might be strong enough to keep the Timbercrom player in check, but we'll see how we develop on this following turn cycle. But yeah, as you said, the Kodama coming down is kind of scary for me because if we have if the Sakashima resolve or we have any bounce land, we're just off to the races.
Absolutely. I mean, and you're talking about, it also has reach, so you can't attack well with things like even Mind Sensor, which we see starting to get the business done with for Lisby. But Lisby is doing exactly what I kind of was talking about, right? Where you're talking about deploying Tymna, paying mana, you start using your Mind Sensor to start drawing some cards, getting all of that done. As here is a Dragon's Rage Channeler cast off Exotic Orchard thanks to City of Brass and Command Tower, I believe. No, just the City of Brass. Either way, Dragon's Rage Channeler is going to work. But yeah, like you mentioned, Kodama's the biggest thing on the table. We've talked about this in the past. We talked about how Ian is somebody in particular that leverages that a lot. And it matters for these Kodama decks as well. You put Kodama into play, it's going to be the biggest power and toughness on the battlefield. So when it starts coming down to these little chip attacks for Tymnas and stuff like that, A, you're going to have trouble attacking into a Kodama. B, if you get attacked with a Kodama, you're going to suddenly die really fast.
After that, if it resolves.
Yeah, it resolves. You're good.
As can't get a great. Is that Halana? Yeah, Halana paid. Yeah, Halana cast. Ristic drawn.
Draw.
So we go over to Out of Whack, and now, Sakashima can be played and paid for. And you mentioned things like a bounce land being able to start things up right away. Doesn't require casting spells to combo off with the Kodamas, and that's going to be a big deal underneath this Ristic Study.
Especially because we didn't play the line first, has me a little spooked. So we're gonna see what interaction is happening here. And I just realized that so do we have the red blast here? No red mana. So is either hard counter spell or removal for the Kodama.
Yeah, you're really scared, huh? These players don't seem to be that worried about it.
I guess we'll find out together.
Sakashima on the battlefield has not played a land this turn yet.
No, Sakashima's on the stack.
Sakashima on the stack.
Yeah. I will.
3 mana, maybe a response here. Alchemist's Retrieval, I believe, is that card.
It looks like it. The Alchemist's Retrieval targeted the Kodama.
Okay, well that's a blowout. there's no two which ways about that. That's gonna get the job done, and that's gonna trigger the Dragon's Rage Channeler, which receives Surveil and Arid Mason to the graveyard.
Okay.
Yeah, Alchemist Retrieval. That one you got to cleave to return an on-land permanent to its owner's hands. That's gonna get the Kodama done, and now we have a what is it? A 3/1? Yeah, a 3/1.
That's a 3/1. Yep.
One type. Okay. So you just need
that's a downside of this deck. It's very explosive, but if the key point of interaction is right there when you cast a Sakashima. If you don't have anything now, you have to figure out a way to either kill or bounce your own Sakashima to try to get your Kodama in place. So I think where Out of Whack is kind of checked at the moment, and we just have to see how the other few turns go.
All right. Well, I have to agree with you there. And yeah, like you said, it's checked. And now the Timna players are kind of allowed to kind of begin to do the Timna thing, right? Like the Ristic Study has been fed quite a few cards, but both Timna players that are not, in control of Ristic Study in pretty good position to start getting some serious card advantage off of it as Lisby goes to combat here. Gonna take a look to see if we're gonna get busy with Timna as well. I have to imagine I would. I don't know if you're gonna trade your board, then let's do it.
Is the Dragon Rage online? Is it a
instant sorcery land? I think it's only instant sorcery land, so I don't think so.
Okay, I'm gonna gain 2, lose 2, draw 2.
And yeah, we do see 2 hits, 2 cards for Lisby, and that means Timna's already up and ready to go. We'll see if Lisby wants to deploy anything else. Maybe just try to hold up interaction. Once again, in the 4th seat, you have a lot of recovery to be doing, especially when the players have come out so strong. And Dothy Voidwalker going to help that quite a bit.
Okay,
that's a tough one as a Hulk player.
I love paying for Ristic here. Love it.
Yeah, no, you respect it. As you said, you just want to do your Timna plan, draw the cards, and just respect the other player. The Dulce is pretty good here. Because now Takada has to figure out to remove 2 creatures before we start doing survival saves.
Yeah, survival just kind of doesn't work at all, huh? That card played on turn 1, very scary for Takado. Suddenly doesn't look that scary anymore. Even with Halana around.
Yeah, we just now have to hope that we just have creatures.
Oh, how about a deafening silence? Well, that's going to do quite a bit to stymie the amount of kind of explosiveness that Ignacy can assemble with Ristic Study. Ristic Study paid for again. A lot of discipline from Lisby here, and I absolutely love it. In 4th seat, you see a lot of players take this, I can't afford to pay for anything standpoint. And Lisby, yes, I think very much has made a correct assessment based on the pod, the texture of the game, that not only can they afford to pay for it, but he has to if he wants to, increase his chances of winning this game.
So you agree with that part? You're not a fan of I'm 4th. I'm already at a disadvantage. I'm already behind. I need to try to catch up with what the players are doing.
It's once again, I mean, we can talk about this kind of situations in the abstract. It's always contextual. And in a triple Timna pod, absolutely, I'm not on board for that. I got time, and I know I got time.
Nope.
Fair enough, and we're playing the pieces that give us time. Oh,
correct.
Land drop pass. Okay.
So land drop passing the turn. Could this be an ad nauseum?
7. Okay.
Missed a lot of mana to hold up, right? Like maybe opposition agent, some interaction, or whatever, but that's a lot of interaction to hold up.
Yeah, especially no nothing to play. Yeah, I think definitely either just a bunch of interaction or we're just trying to hold up the dogs.
Yeah, I mean, I would be very suspicious of this much mana, right? You've been fed a lot of cards. You've really only made land drops and pass, which, I'm a big fan of, whatever. But that's it. Then, hey, come on, we can do better. As Takado correctly realizes that it is Timna time. Trigger on Ristic Study. We'll see if he's interested in paying. Only City of Brass left untapped does choose to pay. I like that a lot. Again, this discipline. When you're a Timna player and, there's a Ristic and you're Timna time, come on, pay. Pay. This is how you make Timna look better than a Ristic Study. It takes a lot of doing, but you can do it. But you got to be willing to pay for Ristic Study. You got to already have a few creatures out. And I think we're at that point in the game at the moment where Ristic Study has drawn a few cards, but there's no need to get reckless. No need to keep beating cards.
All right, post-combat main phase, I have a Timna trigger.
I definitely agree. I agree with how this game played. So it would have been a very fast, maybe it was a fast start. So maybe it would have been a quick game, but we have settled down. We have settled down into the getting our resources up, getting stack pieces to slow down the game, and now we're about to get the value train running.
Absolutely, and I think that all the Timna players are certainly interested in that. I'm interested to see if Out of Whack is going to continue to be out of whack with the rest of the players and continue not paying for Ristic, because you don't have to, right? Like that's kind of the joke. You talk about the Timna players not wanting to give the Ristic player a bunch of advantage, but that's just not what you're about. Your combo is so generally very hard to interact with because it's all creatures. And yeah, we're just looking up this card. I have no idea what this thing is. It appears to be Obaro Breeze Caller, a 2-mana 1/1 flyer. You pay 2, return a land you control to its owner's hand to untap target land.
It's a cold.
What are we doing with this? Is there like a amulet?
No,
it's like a combo. You get to untap the land with the ETB of Kodama on the stack, pick it up, play it again. So if you're low on land drops, you can keep this repeating the loop.
But it costs 2. Like Cradle's the only land that like works with, right?
This let me double check, but this list normally plays the 2-mana bounce lands. Let me see.
There's a lot to parse. Well, I do know there's a Cradle. There's also a Nykthos. That would do quite a bit. There's also
no, we're not playing
Sunscorched Desert. Maybe it's like an infinite mana outlet with Sunscorched Desert.
I'll swing at you for 3.
Sheesh. Like City of Traders works. Ancient Tomb kills you.
I think we agreed that we can't block that thing.
Yeah, I guess it's just Nykthos and Cradle.
Maybe Mycosynth Gardens is part of the equation. No, that taps. I don't know. Either way, we have deployed the Obaro Breeze Caller. We made some attacks. We passed the turn, not deploying the Kodama because we can't. Actually short on green mana.
Yes.
Why isn't that going down?
As we get back to Lisby, who has a great attacking force, thanks to Dothy being mostly unblockable, Avon being mostly unblockable, and a nice Tymna. It certainly doesn't look like the Breeze Caller is going to be doing a ton of blocking, as it's only a 1/1. Let's yeah, I mean, might even just be Tana time, huh?
Ooh, the true mid-range.
I mean that you know, it's almost a meme in the format. It's like it reminds me a lot of like card velocity in 60 card formats. People talk about that, and there's a whole bunch of jokes. It just doesn't mean anything at all. And mid-range feels that way in cedh. The term just gets warped until it just has no meaning at all anymore. But sure, in this case, I think if there's anything that describes true mid-range, Tana.
Swing 3 at you.
Gonna be it.
Well, we're drawing 3 cards here. Oh, the Tymna engine is online.
All
and
cylinders.
Steaming. Oh my.
All cylinders.
Any removal? Any removal in chat? Any
We
ad
already used the
nauseam on
removal.
the stack? No?
Any ad nauseum on the stack.
My goodness.
The removals in the chat, the ad nauseums on the stack. I love it. I love it. That's just everything's put away right where it goes. Cradle the land for turn. Let's see what we have as a fall. Shit, ton of mana. Not very much red mana. This is something we've seen consistently be true for Lisby's deck. Not a lot of red going on. Which is funny given that it's a Kiki Jiki deck. casting the card Kiki Jiki remains moderately difficult to do.
Okay, so we got our Cradle and we're making abundance of mana. What are we doing with this?
So I'm gonna cast a
Vexing Shusher is back in town. Only 2 blue decks at the table. Still has text. So very at least a blocker represents the trade of the Tymna. Not meaningless.
Paid for study.
Paid for study. We get
maybe we did a paid for
Skrelv. Skrelv, a nice pickup from Phyrexian will be 1, huh? Nice little extra Mother of Runes effect. Toxic 1. It's like you, Ashani. It's toxic 1.
Okay. Lovely.
It can't block. You can pay a Phyrexian white and tap it. Choose a color. Another target creature you control gains toxic 1 and hexproof from that color until end of turn, and it can't be blocked by creatures of the color this turn. Basically, protection from a color, but also gets toxic 1. Sweet card.
Got some birdie action.
Birds of Paradise. Now this Cradle looks crazy, right? There's a ton of mana.
We have to do something on that step, right? No? Oh, okay.
No plays? Well, now I don't like Ignacy's position at all. Didn't even play Crom to not get hit a bunch. Just left up a bunch of interaction. I mean, that if I'm at this table, it just screams interaction. You have interaction. You
Yeah,
have
if
a
the
lot of
full
interaction.
yeah, the full rotation. But now the shusher just checks the interaction with all the creatures in play.
Sure. Yeah, and Mana Crypt deployed for Ignacy, and that's the only non-creature you get this turn. Not sure if we've surveilled. Doesn't look like we have. Tarnished Citadel added to the mix. That 3 life for a card seems to be worth quite a bit now. I mean, yeah, I'm tempted to play both Crom and Timna this turn. I feel behind. Yeah, here's Crom. I'd have to tap differently. Can we Timna? Yeah, we can Timna, right? We'd have to tap differently.
I don't think we want to Timna. I think we want to keep up some interaction.
Yeah. Well, also it would cost 5 life to play Timna too.
Yeah, I'm not
that doesn't feel super good, but you can't attack with Crom either. You have to just stop the attacks because your life total is getting low. And this is kind of what we were talking about before, where like Kodama suddenly begins to look like a real piece of Magic card just for its power toughness part of the card instead of the rest of the text box.
Alrighty, so maybe if we get to play a small creature here, we get to remove something, but the first step is to draw some cards.
Oh yeah, I mean the first step of most turns is draw the extra cards, get the full information, and Takato completely agrees. As here is a Timna likely attacking out of whack, and a Ranger Captain likely attacking Lisby.
I don't think Lisby is going to give up any of those creatures.
I'm inclined to agree. Maybe there's some merit to the Birds of Paradise because you're already really long on a bunch of mana already anyway. But
I'm not reducing my Cradle mana. Too important.
Yeah. Reducing your Cradle mana basically put you down 2 mana. That doesn't feel very good. Yeah. So I have to imagine we're going to see no blocks here.
Oh, no.
People in chat asking what Sakashima is a copy of. Nothing. That is a Sakashima of 1,000 Faces. It's a 3/1 with Legend Rule does not apply to permanents you control. It had nothing to target when it entered the battlefield.
Nope.
Okay, I'll lose a life.
Oh, it doesn't even target. It had nothing to copy.
So we trumped with the bird. We don't want to give the extra cards. The bird is gone.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't hate it. I think it could easily go both ways, especially if like you're at the point now where it's like, okay, I'm ahead with all my Timna stuff in my interactive pieces. I don't want other players catching back up. I don't hate the kind of the blocks.
I've not been drawing.
Because right now, if you're talking about card advantage streams, right, Ignacy isn't really drawing that many cards. Like Crom ain't drawing any cards underneath a deafening silence, and most players at this table are paying for Ristic studies. So really, it's between Takato and Lisby as far as Timna card streams, like who's actually going to get ahead. So he's the most important Timna to block.
Agreed.
What can Out of Whack assemble something here?
Not without hopefully drawing something, because even if we go Breeding Pool, pick up Breeding Pool, play it again, we have to use the Ancient 2 mana. I don't think so. I don't see a world where we can get Kodama back in.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, and if you do, it's got to be the hard way. Just like draw a green source, play it. Carrion Feeder added to the mix for Takato. Sack Outlet, not great underneath a Dothy, but is an attacker.
Feed or something.
So
Can also potentially get bigger if removal gets added to the mix from other players.
We can pay the 2 here if we wish.
It's actually 2.
The Halana trigger kill the Aven.
I'll pay.
Ooh,
Which we're planning on.
That'd be saucy.
I'll target Squirrel.
Yeah, okay. Carrion Feeder, Halana trigger,
Having the
deal damage equal to its power. So it's not a fight, it's just damage. So the Carrion Feeder will live.
Yeah.
Its power. So
Okay. And that's gonna happen before the Skrell. Do you have to just kill the Skrell and play a longer game? Or do you just kill the Aven now?
Well,
let's abrupt decay the carrion.
Spell does it activate? Is that a tap ability?
Have a Ristic trigger. Yep, you can.
It is a tap ability. It costs 2 life and a tap. It's not active now, but it'll be active next turn. Abrupt decay in response. Does that stop Alana?
Do I still damage to it or
no?
I think it does. Because it says that creature deals the damage, and that creature won't be present anymore. But he's already paid. And if he's paid, then it's resolved.
If you pay, the ability resolves, correct.
Right. So
that might be a
judge. Have to have a little bit of a judge call here.
Yeah.
That person.
It's not going to work after the mana's paid.
Yeah, because the trigger goes on the stack. You would have to abrupt decay with the trigger on the stack. Because damage is dealt after the ability resolves. So if that's the case, I think we just remove the survival.
Maneuvering Discord is hard.
Oh yeah. Okay. It's very simple question.
Are we saying
Halana
we're
trigger,
responding
I
to
paid for the mana
carry?
and announce the target.
Ooh, actually it doesn't work
I'm
ever.
targeting the
For
creature
it
that's
says
trying to
for the
damage
creature that
itself.
entered the battlefield, use its power as
Does it still
Halana's
deal damage,
reflexive
or
triggered ability
it has to
resolves
stay
to
on the
determine how
battlefield
much
for a
damage is
while
dealt.
to-
If
Are we
no
talking
longer,
about Kessel's
if it's no longer on the
damage
battlefield at that
or
time, use its power as it
or-
last existed on the
So
battlefield.
whenever another creature enters the battlefield.
Also,
Oh.
no, so nothing
that
works.
creature deals
Hey, I don't
damage,
think it
It's
works ever.
power to target
It just
creature.
dies. Okay.
So
Yeah, I
Halana
think you kill the
targets
carrion feeder
creature,
and whatever you're
right?
targeting also dies. And maybe
And
we're
that
trying to
creature's
roll
getting
back the abrupt decay
if I'm
now.
following correctly.
Yeah, this is messy. We got to get the judge call going on here. That's an interesting ruling because it says that creature deals the damage, but yeah, I guess Halana
And carrying
is
feeder
worded in
being
such a way that
targeted by abrupt decay.
it just checks for last known power.
Abrupt decay.
That's a wild interaction.
So if it's not on the battlefield, it shouldn't be able to do
And
that.
I've certainly not played it against enough Halana to know that
Triggers-
that's
triggers like
how that
Halana
works.
Yeah, I
by
learned
what's
something
known
from
as
this.
last known
That's pretty
information.
cool.
It might not be for Lisby if Lisby
Say
is
which
priced
last
now
known
into
information, and it will
having
still
cast that abrupt
deal the
decay.
damage
Not
to the
clear if
card.
that's where
So-
we're at or not.
So the only upside to this is you
Are you
get
sure?
to
Unless I'm
exile
Unless I'm missing
the
something.
carrion
Jim, am I
feeder, which is
missing
a
something?
sacrifice.
It is not on the battlefield.
That's like the only upside to it, because you
Because
still
if
have
it's
the
no longer on the
Gothic.
battlefield at that time, so when the trigger tries to resolve, use its power as it
Yeah.
lasts.
But I don't think so. I think I think you're gonna go after the ace. I think I like removing the survival.
To target creature, the only
Removing the
I'm-
survival. Yeah, I mean,
is the thing that it is targeting.
Because eventually these creatures are just gonna go as long
In this case,
as
an even mindset.
but the
card
graveyard's
keep
still
getting
turned
pulled.
off, right? Like survival is still very much mitigated.
Sorry, Skrelv.
Yeah, but it can still
So
tutor
the
though.
Skrelv would
The
have
thing
to
with the
go on
survival is you can
trigger
always get a
flexibility
flow of
is pivotal,
creatures,
as it is the
and the
only thing
Halana
that's
will
targeting.
always get to delete the Gothic.
And
Eventually.
so the creature
Right.
will deal damage.
Yeah, the Halana
based on,
actually looks to be an
as
impressive
my
piece of
four
cardboard
said,
here.
the
And we see the trigger
creature
represented there. It looks like the
which,
carrion
it
feeder,
looks like
the Halana trigger
carrion
rather,
feeder
with the
has
carrion
its
feeder
counter
is
rules
actually going
of
after the
the
Skrelv,
2/2,
which makes a lot of sense to me. I think you want to remove the Mother of
Minimum,
Runes kind of effect that would protect future Halana activations. Look to just play a longer game and basically just kill the whole board with Halana activations as the game progresses.
So I can't
Right.
take that back. So
So yeah, carrion feeder hits
sounds
the
interesting
Dothy
to me. That's how
Exile.
that works, but so abrupt decay, Scroll.
And Skrelv
Any other
still
questions, or
dies
are we good to
anyway.
go?
Yes, so we're there.
I think that was it.
So the only thing we need to
That's
change is the carrion
wild.
feeder needs to have
Your
a void counter not
guy's
being
gonna be
the
exiled with the Dothy.
Oh, yeah,
counter.
yeah, yeah.
Hopefully they
Correct.
will
And yeah, we're
fix
getting
that.
that
There we
fixed
go.
right now. Here we go.
Got it.
All right, we're back. We are back to everything's resolved. The judge call's also resolved, and we are continuing with Takado's turn, which, given that he's out of mana, I think is not going to last very long.
For my
It has not, as we move to out of whack 3-1-1.
I hear that. We drew the great source right off the top.
let's see.
You're willing it under the top of the library, eh?
Absolutely, absolutely.
All right, okay.
We did not
So,
draw it. Shame,
He's just not
shame.
playing it yet. Yeah, he's just not playing it yet. He's
1,
holding
2,
it. He's just
3,
looking at it a
4,
little longer.
5, 6.
He's not doing that. Darn.
I will get
So we have
1
6-7
green
mana,
and 5 colorless.
which we are
Green or
annotating
blue and a
here.
lot of
To
colorless.
untap the breeding pool.
We're
What?
doing this thing that I
Return
thought
the
we
ancient
were
tomb in my hand.
We're
Oh,
floating mana, picking up the
Yeah.
ancient tomb,
Did you take your 2 life from when you activated that?
okay.
untapping the
There we go.
breeding pool.
Tapping for green.
Huh. And that gives us Kodama with mana to spare.
Correct. But the issue
ancient tomb
is that's a
back on.
land drop.
Um,
The issue with this. Oh, do we get to
tap 2.
how do we turn the Sakashima?
Go up
Yeah, you have to
4.
find a way to bounce the Sakashima, which is a tough ask without something like a psychic pickpocket.
Let me count something real quick.
Interesting.
Are we responding to something? We're getting a hand count. Not too sure what is happening, but yeah. So we definitely we played the Kodama.
Green and
Then
4 colorless to cast a
we
Kodama.
needed. Did we need to play the Asian too?
I think if you want to pay for Ristic Study, you needed to play the Ancient Tomb. And that looks to be what we did.
And then I will go to combat.
And
Is that
an
we
attack with Sakashi. I mean, I guess a way to get it off the battlefield is to attack with it.
Mm.
Although I'd be more inclined to try to block with it, but here we
I
go.
would be glad to block with it, but no one. I think no one with the Kodama on board. No one is going to swing it to you.
No
anyway.
one's attacking you anyway, right? So it's just keep going after like Ignacy or whatever, somebody whose life total is getting really, really low,
Oh, yeah,
and try to get them to block the Sakashima. I like this a lot. I like this angle.
With this and that, so I'll block with Chrome.
Yeah, you force. Yeah, with a lowest life total. Yeah, I agree with you here. Oh,
And
and we
then,
blocked.
yeah, and Crom,
we
yeah,
did it.
Crom did go ahead and
All
block the Sakashima. Yeah, so we got that online. And I think at this point, Ignacy has bigger worries with the other Timna players than, you know, whether or not we have a Sakashima coming next turn or whatever. But that might be a big deal for Out of Whack to suddenly come back in this game after getting, you know, more or less blown out on turn 3 by Alchemist Retrieval.
It's a long day. Then I'll pass.
Yeah, it reminds me of Card Sakashima, not the same potency or the same level of difficulty. It's just that the normal point of interaction is when the Sakashima comes.
Actually, sorry.
If you know how the deck works,
at
and
the end of
that's the
turn-
point.
Sorry.
Oh, that's
End of your
it.
turn.
Okay, we're going back.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, if that's normally the
Video
point of
content-
interaction for
video
both
content camera.
Sakashima decks is where they're
Force
trying
of-
to put a
negate-
copy.
Force of Vigor.
Oh, on Instep, we're going for a Force of Vigor, pitching an Ignoble Hierarch. Okay. So this can go after Ristic Study. What else are we interested in getting rid of?
Your hand Tronic.
Is it the bar or the survival?
8.
Or do we
I
wanna
kind of
cut
like
it
getting rid
off
of
now?
survival, huh? If the Aven's suddenly in trouble for getting Halana down as the game progresses, going after Ristic Study plus the survival seems really appealing. Although you maybe run the risk of ignoring Out of Whack for too long and eventually you yeah, you're gonna get got. So maybe you're supposed to blow up the Soul Ring. Yeah, I actually don't hate that Soul Ring at all. Ignoring the Ristic Study, I actually love this. Just be like, Ignacy's not gonna do anything that matters. We got a deafening silence and all these hate pieces. So let's stop the other two players.
I definitely like the survival because Lisby is also a survival deck. So getting your own survival from the Darcy just seems great.
Yeah, being able to get your own survival, it could be a really, really big deal here. And you have Vexing Shusher to protect it, and just all your stuff works. Ranger Captain doesn't stop you. I mean, maybe there's a win attempt we can assemble here with all this mana from Gaia's Cradle.
Draw a card.
Let's see how it goes.
I agree. Lisby potentially having a pretty big turn here. That Force of Vigor, being able to feed the Dothy cards is certainly appealing as Silent Clearing deployed as the land for turn.
You're just gonna keep pinging all my stuff, very likely there, Taka.
All right, so we get one non-creature spell, but after that, we can cast Creatures to Our Heart's Desire. Do have to be respectful to things like Ristic Study and Crom.
Let's
Given how much mana is up for Ignacy. God, if Ignacy has an opposition agent here, that would be a problem.
That would be a problem.
There's a bunch of stuff on the battlefield.
A lot of conversation happening here, and it looks like the Dothy is turning sideways. All right, not interested in the survival. Here we go, Smackdowns.
We want that. We want that card. Okay.
I believe that's it.
I mean, yeah, you can't even attack with Aven anymore because there's Crom flies, Halana reaches, and Kodama reaches. So there's that's just that's a lot.
Oh yeah, Talana has reach. I forgot that part. Oh,
yeah, it's an archer.
Lose one, draw one.
Pew pew. Keswick Ranger. One card coming from Lisby. So Timna from Lisby is a little stifled at the moment. No Skrell to help force through any kind of attacks.
Seems like we also went after Takado here.
Yeah, it seems that way.
Cradle activation.
4 green.
4 and then a red. Paying for the Ristic.
4 green in the City of Brass. Cast Tana, the Blood Sower.
So I pay for Ristic.
5 mana left over. Untapped, not including the green mana, which I think we have 1 of left.
Oh,
at 4.
Oh yeah. We paid a Ristic. Yeah. We paid a Ristic.
Oh, we paid the Ristic. So we have 0 mana. We have we have 5 mana untapped, no mana floating.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Okay.
Now what?
I will untap.
Nothing. Not even giving a card off Crom. Wow. I don't know if this is discipline or just really tight play, but either way, I kind of like it.
5. No damage.
Just like giving Ignacy no cards, nothing to work with.
Nothing to work with, and while pressuring life.
And it speaks to the power of Ristic Study, right? Given how many cards it has drawn with all of the players actively paying for it.
Right.
Except Adawak. I think Adawak paid like once or whatever, but it's still drawn between 3 to 5 cards. It is the reason it's one of the most powerful cards at this point, I think, accepted to be one of the most powerful cards in cEDH. If it is fed. Grand Abolisher. Uh-oh, red flags.
Is this a value abolisher?
I mean, you only get one non-creature spell still. There is still a Deafening Silence in play. There's still a David Nine Sensor in play, and there is still a Dothy in play. So I don't know what Ignacy's win looks like
I don't.
after the Abolisher, but
Oracle
it should be a long
console.
belt.
I mean, otherwise we just.
That's the
Yeah,
only thing.
okay, that would do it.
Crack it now.
Yeah.
If we
Sure.
put it on
The power of
I
Oracle
will
Consult
touch
just
the ignorance.
works.
What do you think?
So do you crack the Ranger
So
Captain?
if you're
Ooh.
I'm gonna saying I will act.
I don't think Takato can.
And then you crack
With
it.
how much Takato's been interacted with by the table, it's just the only thing he really has going on.
Not to crack it and want to crack it on my turn and crack it on my turn instead.
Like if you
I
lose
had to
that, you
ask-
have your commanders, that's it? Like you're just so far behind.
I had to ask you that question because you're the greediest
Well, yeah,
Oh, I never
Ranger
crack a
Captain
Ranger Captain.
player. So I'm like,
Never.
do you crack
Never.
the Ranger Captain?
Nope.
I
Nope.
also, like,
Hold it
That's-
forever.
that's bold.
Die with it
That's-
in play. That's fine.
Trust it. I don't
Oh, okay. All right, calm down, Trey. Calm down.
What's
But
that?
we're-
We doing ad nauseum resolves. No problem. Resolves.
I think we're having a conversation of cracking the Ranger Captain. And that
Yeah, I
seems
think
like
they're trying to
a
convince
calm-
Takato to crack the Ranger Captain. I'm not
That's-
about it at all.
At
At all. Because not only do you give Lisby a Ranger Captain, not interested in that.
Oh,
but-
not interested in that. I agree. I agree.
Yeah, not interested in that at all. But you also lose your Ranger Captain. That's like I said, the only thing really going on for Takato. Other than that, it's like some moderately underpowered commanders. I mean, obviously Tim is great, but Halana has a lot of mana, and we don't really have a lot of that to work with.
But also we don't know what else he's doing. So
Yeah, that's the only card that,
yeah.
man, this is the thing that people have a problem with the Oracle. All this hard work just gets completely dissolved by
Hard
our Oracle
work?
console.
What do you mean hard work?
Don't see.
It's not like we're
Even-
building. It's not like we're building a house.
Oh, okay, let's get out of here. This is hard work. Here.
What are we doing here? We're attacking and blocking. It's not hard work.
If you crack it right now in console oracles, then
Gotta resolve all our stack pieces just to still lose. Come on, man.
Look, yeah, exactly. You deserve that. You deserve that.
Oh,
Should be
you
trying to win
deserve
instead of
that.
trying to not
Okay.
lose. Magic fundamentals. Try to win. Don't try to not lose. If you play a bunch of cards that make you not lose, you're gonna lose. You deserve it.
Here's my counter argument to that. First, you have to not lose to win. How you feel about that?
Well, I mean, you could just
Exactly.
win.
Exactly.
Have you ever cast the card Final Fortune, Nishani? You see, on the card it says you lose the game, but the joke is you don't lose the game. You actually win the game. Do you know that?
It's fine. Just keep it.
I don't know.
Because you don't lose the game if you've already won the game.
As long as it's not.
It's reminder text. It says on the card.
It says
It'll
on the
remind
card.
you.
Read the
It'll
card.
remind you to not lose the game and win the game instead. So I would simply do that.
Okay, yeah.
Glad I can help. If you have any future questions, I offer coaching.
I pass on ground.
yeah, I pass on it.
Yeah.
Oh lordy.
Okay.
Alright, you pass.
So we're still tanking on.
Yeah, we're
Well,
still
we're-
just doing a big thonk.
Oh, so Takasa, I think, looks saying no.
Alright.
Yeah.
And
I think the Ranger Captain. Look at that. Never crack your Ranger Captain. Never. Don't do it.
value. It
Abolish
was
or
a
go.
value abolisher all along.
Discard Wooden Foothills to hand size pass turn. Never crack your Ranger Captain. Take notes. Those of you watching, people at home, never crack it. Never crack it. Keep it in play forever. Till it's
No
time
matter
to
what, no matter what the pressure is, keep it in play.
They never have it. They don't have it. Why would they have it? They don't have it.
Let me think.
All right, Takato. You got rewarded for what Ashani would call greed. I call discipline. What do you have for us?
Can probably block with you.
We have a first step attack. I don't know where that
Attack who?
goes.
Yeah, attack
I
who?
don't
and
know
with
where
what?
that is going. I mean,
There's
it's a
just so
3.
many creatures in play.
It's a 3/4, right? You have to give up a Tana and something else. And I don't think you're giving up anything else. I think Lisby's just a free attack.
Let's start with mana crypt.
How about a mana crypt? That triggers Ristic Study.
Realistic trigger.
Yeah, we found the Ristic Study. He says sure. Okay, what do we need 6 mana
You're good.
for?
Mana crypt's good.
4 mana
Clearly
creature
have
plus
nothing.
pay?
You clearly have nothing going on. So draw your cards.
White.
What? No, you want them to stay having nothing going on.
I don't know, man. Listen.
Cast,
Talking
Alright,
about
well,
winning the game.
Skyclave Apparition. Ooh, that card has a lot of juicy targets.
Ooh, that double hit?
Let me take a look
Yeah,
have
we can
enough
fight,
mana
we can
to-
exile. We got a lot going on with that one.
What are you gonna hit? So wait, it's on the stack.
Yeah, it's on the
Yeah.
stack right now.
Okay.
I'm most definitely hitting one of your.
Now
spells, Lisby,
what?
but one's also
Oh,
hitting
we're
the
talking about
Crown
Skyclave.
Abolisher, but it'll be
What are we hitting with that?
trigger.
I believe says
Yeah, I can
Ignacy.
By- Yeah. go ahead.
Problem is,
Lisby,
Or-
taking a look at the
not hearing
cards.
from the biggest
I don't
fan,
think we need to worry about anything
getting
out of
myself
whack. Here.
knocked
We
out.
haven't hit land
Well,
drops in a
like
while.
here, like what?
And
I mean,
those fucking
Sakashima
Shima
next
cast-
turn is.
Oh,
No,
Is that
it
enough?
costs 6.
understand.
It costs
Uh,
6.
Oh, it
Go
costs
for
6, and we blew up the soul ring. Yeah, okay. Yeah, you're
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
Very
we're
unlikely that
fine.
out of whack's gonna assemble
I'm trying
something
to see,
broken
like,
next
what
turn.
does-
Possible. Kodama's a messed up card. It's possible.
Let's see, you
but
also
not
have,
super likely.
Valthy Boy Warrior
Yes,
who
I
will
think
be
we just-
able to,
What do we? We
uh,
just delete? Do we hit
Survive.
Bouncy Timna?
grab survival.
Dothy Timna.
Or-
Is it
Triggered
supposed to
okay,
be?
so that also unlocks
It's
Or
almost certainly supposed to be
Dothy
Dothy.
Avon?
You could probably fight the Dothy.
I mean, there's still
Fight the
I want to
Dothy,
hit
kill
something
the
on
Avon?
Ignacy's field, to be honest with you. What if it's supposed to be Exile Abolisher, fight the Dothy?
I'm just gonna say it'll be fine to remove one of it. If I lose, like, well,
I don't know. There's a lot of hand.
I don't know.
waving going on.
Ignacy.
I'm sure a lot of politics at work, and we'll get a confirmation in a second. But there's a ton of juicy
So,
targets.
it's
Is
on
the only
stack,
way
so
to
are
put
you
it.
gonna try to exile the Grand
Ignacy
Abolisher
has
from
left
Dothy,
5 mana
fighting
open,
Grand Abolisher?
done nothing, played an Abolisher
like, I'm
pass.
just announcing right now,
I
you
have
will
writ-
be
I have
exiled
written
Grand
this player
Abolisher.
off
I
as
wrote
having
that
nothing.
underneath your Dothy.
It is
You're
literally
gonna
just
die.
interaction.
Or, like,
You're gonna
anybody else with
die.
Dothy in the future.
Is it
Ignacy can't
refraction?
move. You can't move. There's a Ranger Captain. Obviously, Abolisher lets you move, but if you go ad nauseum,
I think I'm
you just can't cast anything else. So you need to end step it or whatever.
You gotta force a Ranger cap. You gotta force the sacrifice.
No, you don't. Make somebody else do that.
Okay, so you're
Oh
gonna probably
my!
hit the Avon.
See, okay, this is
Correct.
I think I'm okay.
That's somebody else's
No,
problem. That's
see,
my problem.
this is the Ranger Captain dilemma that I despise. Everyone is so scared of the Ranger Captain on this full lane, and the player who controls it just cracks it. You gotta force him to crack it.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
No, I'm not gonna do that.
So this
No.
is on the stack.
No.
Priority on.
No, they don't have it.
Out of whack.
All right, so we're drawing cards off Ristic Study
Lisby.
and Crom.
Yeah,
So we've done
And
that.
Yeah.
ETB. Halana trigger.
Our creature enters,
Trigger.
Skyclave enters. Looks like we got some triggers on the stack. Takata doing a good job announcing that. Let's get some targets going.
That has to go eventually, right?
Skyclave is resolving. The ETB of Skyclave is resolving.
Apparition will resolve.
Yeah,
first,
looks
that'll
that
work into
way.
Grand Abolisher.
What's our target?
Now,
Grand
Halana
Abolisher.
will-
Love it.
Grand
Great
Abolisher,
target.
okay.
Okay.
Do you want to keep it
Who we
separate
fighting?
so
Then
you know which ones are
are we
unlocked,
paying
which
for
ones
that
under,
part?
Yeah,
Oh, we still have a colorless floating. Okay.
Oh, you have to pay before you even select a target, huh? Because it generates another trigger. Cool. All right, so you can wait to see if that works
Yeah.
before you
Pay
before you pay. So we're gonna do that.
I think I want
the
I want
Halana
to
fight. Avon.
Avon first. Okay.
Okay.
Do we have a fetch land or something? What are we doing with that? Why did we do that? Unlocking tutors seems problematic for Takado. Because I feel like Ignacy, if they have nothing, why do they have nothing, right? Like that's what you should be asking yourself. Is
True.
it tutors? Is
It's
it
the
graveyard matter
tutor.
stuff? What is it? Is it all interaction? Like there's no way you have that many cards that is all just blank. You're not staring at 8 basic lands. That's not what's happening. So what is the mixture? I guess we'll find out. I mean, we have a full turn cycle, and Ranger Captain is still in play, and looks like it's going to be getting frisky.
Oh yeah, Lisby is a attack.
Lisby, what you don't like a Tana Vaccine Searcher double block here?
Gosh.
Do you?
I don't hate it, actually.
Wow.
Mm,
Such
Interesting.
I mean, maybe Takado could convince me. I would let Takado convince me. Oh, I love it. I love it. Oh, I love it so much. The double block. Oh, I would let Takado convince me that you're planning on cracking it on Ignacy's turn and lose to that. But If you just say nothing, you're just attacking me. Fine, no luck.
Oh,
you wanna play games?
double block, grab the ranger, have your own ranger under the Darcy.
You get it. Yeah, I think this ranger captain dying is great for Lisby. Just getting access to it is a huge deal.
I mean, like, if
I
you
don't even think
want,
Lisby
I'm a
needs a
couple-
ranger captain.
Yeah, this game is complicated.
I mean, Lisby
Yeah,
doesn't
I'll
need
tell
basically
you.
anything except more cards.
Yeah, but no, we're
kinda
reducing our
makes it look
cradle
like
mana.
something
I don't like it. I don't like it.
You
That's
know
what
what?
I'm
You're
saying. I
trading
don't
one
like
card for one card, and if they're both commanders, so whichever one dies, just cast it again. Besides, if you get to keep Tana, that card's a lot of.
Oh yeah,
cradle
you
mana.
don't keep the Tana. You keep the Tana goes.
You did
That's
keep
just
the
way
mana
too
cards.
much value.
Oh,
I
Yeah,
think
like
there's
the
nowhere-
team is not even
there's
really
nowhere
that
for
good
the
anymore.
Tana
The
to-
attacks are getting really hard,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
you want to start cracking this Dothy.
Upkeep. Anything during my upkeep?
What happened?
Nope.
No, we took
Uh,
the 3. Aha!
Loose.
Aha!
Whatever. We didn't. I didn't hear exactly the politics that were going on. I would let myself get politics out of the double block, but if you're just running it, like, I'm sorry, no deals. All right, double block. We can play games. We can play games.
We're counting. We're doing counting again. Can we do the same trick without the sword?
Turn the command beacon in my hand and untap
Okay.
It makes 1 mana,
tap for 2 more.
right?
1, 2, back to 3.
You made 4. Spend 2 of it. Bounce a land. Untap. You have 2
Play
floating.
Command beacon.
Makes 2 more. No, this makes 6. But you have to
Oh,
use
so we
the
have
land.
it. Okay.
Oh, but we have Kodama.
With the trigger on the side,
Correct.
I will tap
The
this,
Kodama triggers if you have
grab
another land
2
in hand.
more,
No, you don't need another land because you could just use the stupid fairy thing again with Ancient Tomb.
and put
Oh, to keep returning it and netting a mana. So it's
trigger.
so 1
Well,
mana
it
for
costs
every
life
2
every
life.
time, but
So yeah,
that'll
so it's
get
1
us
mana.
to
I'll cast
That get us to
Sakashima.
6.
No,
we
I think
have
it's
no-
to 8. So we can Sakashima and then do it again, and then we're getting somewhere.
No. Do we? We're just tapped
I
out.
have nothing. You get the wristic.
Do you have anything trim?
Yeah, we
No,
only have
I
1
can't do
mana.
anything. No removal, no.
I thought we had 8.
no creature.
I guess we only had 7.
Savage
Oh,
Strike
oh.
paying for
Yeah, this never worked.
My
the
God.
Kodama.
Adawak had a family.
I will attacking the game.
Okay, yeah. I was like,
okay.
Adawak, if this happens, you're dead. You're dead. I love this pack for the game. You're just dead. Can't pay for it. Doesn't matter. If this
Let the
happens, you're
pack
dead.
resolve. Yeah, we don't let the pack
Heuristic
resolve.
first and crown below that.
There's no way Ignacy has no
Is
interaction.
heuristic good?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, Ignacy has a pile of interaction. We know that.
Yeah.
And like, I have to imagine he's gonna fight. Like, Ignacy's gonna be like, all right, I can just delete this player and not have to worry about them anymore. Deal. Like, I feel like you have to snap
Maybe-
that off. Now,
may-
Adawak
may-
still has to pass the
maybe-
pack, but
Maybe I have a little conversation like, hey, crack that ranger captain or something. I don't know.
no, come on. Takata wouldn't crack in response to a Grand Abolisher.
Yeah,
There's
that
no
was
shot.
soon.
He's got them diamond hands. He's not cracking in response to no pact or whatever. You have a bunch of interaction. Interact, nerd.
Yeah, that's
Oh, nerd. We're calling him games now. My goodness.
Look, that's what Takata would say if Takata was a savage. He
Okay,
said he's
true,
very,
true.
He's a very nice guy. He's very kind individual. All right, pile of cards for Ignacy. We'll see if he does decide to pull the trigger on some stuff.
You've played a land this turn already too.
Yep.
Big tank, big think tank over here. Lisby out here vibing.
He just needs,
Said, I love Lizzie's play style so much. Puts a couple stacks pieces in play, draws a few cards with Timna, casts his spells. You know, I'll give him that. He's always like, oh, I got interaction. I'll use it. But that's all I got. I'm not a blue deck. Like, you get a blast out of me or whatever. You'll get an Assassin's Trophy. That's all I got. Figure it out from there. This is what I have.
Okay.
I love it. I love the style. As Force of Negation, pitching Mnemonic Betrayal, coming down. Have to imagine that one is targeting Pact of Negation.
Yeah, but why? It doesn't let the pack resolve.
I don't know why.
There's no way you don't have a bounce spell in that hand.
Yeah.
Is there a way that Lisby could have tapped to just use Vexing Shusher? Like, we have to tap like this?
Pact because the Dothi was of zone, force negation because
Whatever.
of zone.
This gets exiled on its own.
Not clear. It does feel a little goofy to
Oh,
have other
yeah,
people
yeah,
protect
yeah,
you when you have a
yeah.
Vexing Shusher in play,
And then
but it looks like that's going to work. Kodama's going to get
Basic driver,
schmirked.
basic
And
Oh
yeah.
wow, I didn't even see that. That just happened, right? A first negation got used when there's a shishring play.
Yes, but there's
Oh,
no green
nice.
or red mana up for Lisby. So like,
Yeah,
how is
you're good.
Lisby gonna use it? They can't.
Is that a colorless mana floating? I thought that was a green.
Yes, looks like a color. I don't.
No,
I
he
haven't
normally
colorless.
represents his mana properly. So yeah, it's a color.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I'm assuming so because he normally represents correctly.
I think we maybe tapped the mana crypt to pay for Rhystic Study, and that's the colors floating from the extra Rhystic Study. Is my guess. Could crack the silent clearing. I don't know. Like, you didn't need in mana, maybe. Colors are pretty tough.
Breeze color, I guess. I'll have two of them.
I guess I'm gonna give up.
Either
on
way,
those things.
we have a forest and out of whack. I mean, out of whack can make a copy of the Obaro. What's the name of this thing? Obaro Breeze color. Moonfolk Wizard. Nice Rebecca Guay art on it. Not going to get the job done with Kodama in the command zone.
And
this table's done a great job answering creatures. We talk all the time about creatures, very much uncounterable and pretty hard to answer and stuff like that. I think this table's done a really good job respecting the Kodama decks for what it is. And, interacting at the right points and not having the interaction. Like, clearly, they've been saving a lot of these removal spells and stuff like that for these kinds of moments. They haven't been firing them off the first creature they see, that kind of thing. There's plenty of creature removal targets, but the Kodama has eaten, some kind of permanent base removal every single time it's come down. I think that shows a lot of respect from this pod for the Kodama deck as something that can punk you out very easily underneath all these stacks pieces.
Agreed. I don't think they had mana left, but even I don't know. Maybe we could have got surprised, but even after I think the second Shiba Kodama resolved, there was no way for them to make any more mana. But I could be wrong.
Whatever. Let's just go ahead and put them in the dirt when we can. Yeah. Exactly. Don't get punked out. Here is a fetch from Misty Rainforest. That one's going to work. No opposition agent tricks here. And I think even if someone like Ignacy had one, they would not use it on something as relatively benign as a fetch land.
Probably going to grab this, but
land grabbed there. Double checking, making sure. I have to imagine this has got to be a red land. Every time I watch Lisby's mana base go, it just never has red mana at all. And with Vex and Shisher in play, a card like Kiki Jiki, a card you're interested in casting at some point, I have to imagine, here comes a Taiga. We need red.
You guys can cut if you want. But
or red spells are important.
Yeah, at the very least, red mana certainly has been.
Tap
scrub land, Imperial Seal. All right, well, this one's a little juicier. I think where there was not very much likelihood for there to be opposition agent on the fetch land, I think this Imperial Seal is a little bit juicier, but it looks like no opposition agent from Ignacy. That one's going to work. Did pay for Rhystic Study using Mana Crypt and can draw the card right away with Dothi plus Timna.
So, what do we want to put up here? Our dark side count. Our dark side count isn't great.
Is it not? We got like what, one?
1, 2, 3. Is
that it?
4, 3, 3.
Wow. I feel like there's been a lot of Magic played.
No, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. The deafening silence.
Deafening silence is your own Magic card.
So unless there's a rock in the lens, which I don't think there is.
No, I think it's just cryptistic. Yeah, I think it's literally 3. That's tough.
No, so Lisby has 2. Yeah, so say those 3, because you don't count your own. Right, so you just 3. That's not great.
That's not good. Netting 1 mana ain't good.
Sure.
Is it like Jet Mirror time? Like what are we doing here?
Ooh,
Unless you let me know what it is.
Where's the
Oh, it could be Elish Dorn. Elish Dorn is actually just nasty on this board, right?
Is it?
Kills Timna, Skyclave,
I could swing with my Dothi.
Caller, Bird,
Dragon's
Rage Channeler? I don't know. How good is pumping your entire team a bunch and pseudo wrathing? It seems good. Maybe it's not. Seems fine. I don't know what else you'd want. Birthing Pod?
I think if this comes in
I'm gonna lose. one draw.
Jetmir looks lovely.
You just want to lay the beat down. Get a little Jetmir going, huh?
Yeah, so you make 2 Saprolinks here. So that brings our call to 2, 4. We're not at 9, but we're getting closer. Maybe
Yeah, so we got 2,
maybe
4, 5, 6. Jetmir is number 7.
Yeah, so we're gonna.
Okay.
What is it? My
Oh, we
hand?
can't go pod here, right? Because we already played Imperial Seal.
Right. Deafening Silence stops another non-creature spell, so it has to be a creature, right?
And then a white. Paying for the Ristic. I'll have 3 green floating left over.
Shalai. Okay.
Yeah, that's another answer. It protects the board too from the Halana. Yes.
Yeah, I think Lisby's tired of having his stuff halanted. I think he's over it. Stop halanaing my stuff.
I'm gonna cast the
Follow up. Collector Oof. That's a big oof. Okay.
That affects
2 players.
I cut off.
We got 2 mana
mana
crypts. 2
mana
mana crypts. I mean, I think that's relevant mana for both players, especially Takado, who's been, trying to fight things with Halana every single turn. It's going to be tough to do with a Collector Oof in play. And it's going to make it hard, I think, for Ignacy to assemble something like a Bounce Deafening Silence kill you situation. Like now with Dothy, Oof, and the Deafening Silence, like there's just too much to answer outside of like specifically Cyclonic Rift.
How many cards do you have? I was gonna ask that.
We naturally just have Cyc with mana. Do we?
Well, we have to float 2 mana crypt mana if we want to do that, like right now. But if we're not doing it right now, then when are we doing it? And that makes me think you just don't have it, which would make sense. I mean, it's not like tutors have worked at any point in this game. So really, the players have only had what they've drawn naturally to interact with outside of Ignacy's very turn 1 Imperial Seal.
Do we? Okay.
Like, what I'm concerned is
So now the Dothy is left up.
Yeah, I like this. I like this Dothy.
It is
hanging the Dothy back. I don't know how Lisby convinced the table to get a ton of hit through to trigger the Tim to draw and get 2 Saprolings, but whatever it is, seems like a masterwork. Because there's no shot. I'm blocking with my entire battlefield if I'm basically any of these players. That's how is not getting through. I guess they disagreed.
But I'm not sure if I wanna. Yeah, why not?
Okay, so are we tanking on the Collector Oof or we're in the end step? Seems like
looks like we're in the end step. Here's a Enlightened Tutor that triggers the Dragon's Rage Channeler, provided we remember it. Given that players are passing priority. Okay, no, we didn't remember it. Sick. I wouldn't leave it on top. You're about to search your library.
We don't want it in the Dothy zone.
Fair enough. Something like at Dazib or whatever, just don't want it in the Dothy zone, I guess.
He can have an Ed North at 12. That's fine.
I guess it's not adding anything to throw it in the exile zone at all. I mean, if it's a land, I think it is. Like you want to thin your deck of lands, right? You don't really want to draw those.
Is that correct? We're getting a Witchclaw Talisman.
That looks to be correct. Yes.
Okay. I guess we have removal for the Collector.
With their blockers right now.
Seems pretty hard to resolve under a. Okay, I'm here.
Yeah. Oh, I'm glad you're here.
Dothy plus Shusher seems a little hard to remove. Hold on. There's even a Shalai in play. I am confused.
What are you confused about, Ashani?
Does Wishclaw working?
No, it's not gonna work. That card doesn't work. Okay.
We're on the same page.
Okay.
I'm glad you're here for me.
Well, you seemed like you were here, and then you were there, and then you were everywhere. I was just trying.
I was everywhere. Yeah, we're on the same page. We're on the same.
Okay. All right. There's a Wishclaw on top. We have one.
I say by probably
the mana crypt roll. What do you mean toxic deluge?
Let's see if we're maybe play toxic deluge. Get on board, Drake. He could be on toxic deluge. He's on toxic deluge.
Okay.
That 6 is the problem.
I would say
Yeah,
you're okay now.
I feel like if he had Toxic Deluge, we would have cast that an hour ago.
We might have just drawn it. I don't know. That still doesn't fix the definitely silence
The blame
problem.
on him.
Does not
It was
fix the
still-
deafening sounds problem at all. No.
Even if he does that,
Yeah, Ignatius cards just kind of don't work. Badlands works.
Really have the
Outage untapped. Nice little set of duels there.
Anyhow, I think. Upkeep.
Yeah, I drew already. Sorry.
Now what?
We're good.
This. No, not this.
We got Badlands. That one's tapped. Trying to
Is
figure out how to
this-
tap. A little tricky with all these dual lands.
Is this Timna time?
I think it's
No,
Wish
this
Claw
is-
time.
What's the round timer?
Oh, lovely, lovely.
Okay.
I don't know if you received any extension from our.
Yeah. That looks like a Wish Claw to me. All right.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a Wish
It
Claw.
didn't start until we actually.
I mean, you cast it first if you have the Toxic Deluge, that's for sure. But
I don't think he- No, I don't know. That's still a definite silence that I've.
yeah, okay, so
Still
there we
trying
go.
to figure
The,
out.
the mana confluence hits the graveyard
I always wanted.
and therefore goes to the Dothy zone. Yeah, I like thinning the deck of lands here.
Move to discard.
Even if you think you're gonna search or whatever with the Witch Claw. Okay, now what?
I think I'm fine with your.
We go to
Discard
discard.
step.
Yeah, seems swell.
Not casting. What are we holding up all this mana for?
The perfect time for the cyclonic list.
Just
All
never
about timing.
ever casting Timna. This is either some of the most absurd patience I've ever seen, or there's something I'm very obviously missing about how Ignatius is using his mana. Just sandbagging
I'm
everything. Like
still-
you don't have that much life total to play with.
I'm
Like
still,
Lisby could untap and just like find something that untaps a cradle and you just die. There's a
Okay.
Shalai. You're just
no, he'll-
dead.
no, but he does not believe. Okay, a lot of rocks going to the bin.
All artifacts, right?
Sure.
Was there any spells?
No,
Like
artifacts
instants or
unlocked.
trees?
Yeah, there's a ritual.
Okay, I moved to my untap. Upkeep. I have a mana crypt trigger. I was gonna be damaged.
All right, so what can Takada
Roll
assemble?
six.
on
I don't
the-
know. We have Ranger Captain protection, so if he can assemble anything
Yeah.
at all, then we're in good shape. The Dothy is still in play, shutting down any Protean Hulk lines. Can this deck win without a Hulk? What does this deck do that isn't Hulk?
Well, we're about to find out together.
Is anyone saying nothing? It sounds like you're saying nothing to me.
Listen, don't you dare say that. We might have a-
Incredible, Johnny.
Don't you dare say that. There's hope.
Okay.
There's hope.
Okay.
No, that's so strong.
I mean, I'm
That's
a believer. I'm a believer. I'm just trying to understand. We have a sticker.
No, that's a strong zero. Our only game plan is hope. And without a graveyard,
That doesn't work.
that does not work. Good friend.
Okay.
Thank you.
And we're okay. We're not on
Alright.
Deluge, but we're on Cullen Ritual. So
Well, we still
That's
got
a
one in
saving
place,
grace.
so we can still just like play a moron and fight the Dothy.
no,
And then
the
oh no, we
Shalai-
can't.
the
There's a
Shalai
Shalai.
says
Never mind.
no.
That's off the
Yeah.
table. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we're done. We're just okay.
Lisby Born is not protected. We have to kill the Shalai first.
So that has to start
And
with like
we-
swords to plowshares or whatever. Just something ham-fisted to get the job done. There's no way to cheek your way into killing this ginormous Shalai. I
No.
think it's in the table's best interest to do that. I mean, I whatever the other players could do to help punch that through seems
Okay.
like the way to do it.
And all this removal got used on the Kadama. We want them to do.
My turn. Also, I would like to go for
The Kadama ate all the permanent base interaction.
Yeah, it did. I mean, to be fair, one of those pieces was from Lisby, so like they're not gonna blow up their own thing. No, we're just discarding to hand size and passing the turn.
Okay. Untap.
That seems really good for Lisby.
Draw.
I mean, Ranger Captain's still in play. Gosh,
Let's see.
I don't see how these players aren't talking about how this is basically just Lisby's game to win. Ignatius has a lot of trouble with every one of Lisby's permanents and a Ranger Captain on Takado's side. So like,
3, 4,
there should be some teamwork, I feel like, somewhere.
5.
Out of whack's been out of whack in this game for the last 10
Oh my
minutes.
goodness. Let's
I mean,
not
it's
do
just like
that
when your
to the
Kodama gets blown up like twice. You paid 12 mana to get destroyed by 2 mana cards twice. This is not going to look good for you. Okay.
Let's not do that to the good player's name. Just making rhymes.
I mean,
out of
it's
the
not his
name.
fault. I think he's played a very tight game, but the players had the
Exactly.
interaction. That's tough. Like, you know, you tried your thing that normally is very hard to interact with. They had the interaction. They interacted with it. You're pretty dead. You're in the dirt. Like,
I don't know. We're making some mana here. We're
we're 9
ourselves
with an
in
ancient tomb.
We're okay. We're doing it. We're doing it. I believe. I'm a believer. Here we go. I'm a believer.
Shawty, I don't know where you found such fervor to be a believer. I've always known you'd be a little bit more of a quitter than a believer.
Oh, you know what? We can change. We're human beings. We can change.
We're changing it. It's like the Grinch's heart grows like, you know, whatever.
Oh my goodness.
Oh. Okay.
All right, so we're making a lot of mana here. We're
We
going
are
to
making a lot of
7.
mana. We're activating this goofball, putting more things into play. This Oboro card is pretty good. I don't know. It's made a lot of mana. This Oboro Breeze Call, I've never seen this thing before in my life. And it just like
You're playing.
it's done a
You're
good job
about to
making.
play Tatiova. You don't know about this card? Shame on you, man.
No, is that the Tatiova deck? Look, I got this deck right here. Just take a look. Here, hold on. It's alphabetical.
Maybe a little bit longer.
G
But
was it an O?
minutes left.
Yeah,
M
it's a
N
game
O.
match.
None of us can
It's not even
afford
the deck.
a draw.
It's not even the Tatiova deck. You've scammed me.
I'm trying to not draw it out.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I'm actually not going to untap this. I'm just going to do this the one time. And I will
Crack Command Beacon. That turns it into a soul land, basically, because you don't have to pay the commander tax anymore.
Cast it.
All right.
I will cast the Kodama.
That makes it 18 total mana on Kodama this game.
No mana.
You've already played a land this turn.
I already played
Land
this turn.
Yeah.
already been played thanks to Breeze Caller. No mana floating.
Yeah.
You will on the Ristic trigger.
Wait, I will respond to the Ristic trigger.
Oh, okay.
There's a Ristic trigger on the stack. No mana floating. Looks like Ignacy's looking to respond.
A mystical tutor?
Mystical tutor.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, pass priority.
Is this where the cyclonic crit comes in?
Mystical
Or the
tutor
toxic
is
deluge?
good.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, maybe.
Okay.
It certainly could.
Goes there, yeah.
We can't cast the Overloaded Rift yet. And it basically has to be one of those. Gosh.
It has to be a deluge, right?
Deluge
So-
would hurt a lot, right? Like if you show a
No,
deluge
like-
to the table and Lisby's like, oh, that's a deluge. Nice. Activate Shalai twice. Attack you. Good luck. Your turn. Like,
Yeah,
what do you do?
Yeah, they can't be a deluge. It has to be a rift. So you
It has
also
to be
need
a
a
rift.
definite. You need a definite silence to also
How
go.
many cards are out the whack?
Well, it will go with, yeah, it will go with Rift. But you also
Yeah, but
need
it
to
won't
like
go with deluge. Yeah.
not die
And could
and find a 7th land. Do we have 7 lands?
Nakashima is an Oboro.
I thought we had 6.
Oh no, board.
About to get a good look.
Yeah.
Oh, we have an Ancient Tomb. Okay, we have an Ancient Tomb.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we actually have 8.
But whatever
8 total
we
mana in lands.
put on top here, if we just believe, no, Lisby can't alpha strike here.
Yeah, Lisby can just attack. I mean, obviously 12 is precarious with a Kodama in play, but like you leave an attacker or 2 back. Like Tana could also potentially make some more blockers and stuff like that. Like these cards don't have trample. You just need a couple blockers back to not die to the biggest creatures in play.
We're counting mana, so I think that's just cycle.
22 minutes.
Dothy has a bunch of stuff under it. I mean, having to crack Dothy puts Takata potentially in position to win.
Probably get a cyclone.
So like you have to think about that if you're Ignacy. If you grab the Cyclonic Rift, you cast it, force Lisby to use the Dothy because whatever, Lisby has nothing else. It's Tainted Pact. Oh, so we just have the Oracle? Which means we have the Oracle,
Oracle wins under this?
And
right?
The Oracle still wins under
pretty
this,
sure
right?
I'm
Yes.
Yes.
going
I don't see anything that
to-
stops the Oracle from winning.
That will
And if you upkeep it or end step it, the Ranger Captain doesn't stop you.
Doesn't
Actually, you
stop
could
you.
end step it if you have the Thorkel in hand. Try to find like another piece in the bottom, like 3 or 4 cards, because you have a Crom and a Ristic, and you can potentially Thorkel with some backup. Like you could play a backup piece of your turn.
Okay. Odds of damage.
So Tainted
Okay.
being, being a little bit more controllable, I think is an important piece of the equation here.
So Kodama resolve, because Kodama has never been the problem piece. It's always the second Shima. So maybe
Right.
see if we get a turn. So
I mean, we have to stop Ignacy from just winning. By we, I mean Lisby.
So, but does Lisby just go?
I need to keep my Dothy
Does Lisby
back.
just go for a win here? Because we have multiple tutors under the Dothy.
Whack.
What tutors
Yeah.
do we have that get us somewhere under deafening silence?
Yeah.
I guess survival specifically? Survival. Then you have to do some kind of karmic guide stuff.
So
we're gonna draw cards here?
at you, Trim.
I don't think that Timna ever gets
Vexing
anywhere.
Shisher and Timna is gonna come at you, Taka. I'm just trying to draw cards to help out, so we don't just get completely wrecked. And then
Man.
Shalai is gonna come at you, Taka, as well.
A lot of attacks coming at Takato.
Takata has the worst blocks.
These saplings are gonna come at you.
I don't know. Halana is still a 3/4.
How many mana
So
do you have?
I think the Timna just gets gobbled up here.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of the board gets gobbled up here.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8 here, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13.
So we have 13 total mana. We have 2 Shalai activations.
And I'm sorry, you're sending those 3 creatures at me.
These
right?
3 are coming at you, Taka. Yeah, this one's coming at Trim, and then these 2 saplings are coming at Whack.
And you said how much mana
So
total?
because of the Shalai, the potential Shalai trigger, you might just have to take this and give him the 3 cards.
3 cards. I mean,
Or
the card?
Right?
It doesn't give trample, right? It just puts a counter.
It has trample. The
Which
Tana
one
has
Tana
trample.
has
Trample.
trample.
Yeah.
And that will make more blockers. Equal to the amount of damage dealt. So
yeah,
we
so
trample for a couple, make a
for
couple
one.
more.
If we don't pump, we trample.
If we don't pump, yeah, you make one more, your Cradle makes one more mana, but you're probably losing some stuff in combat here. Yeah, I don't know if I feel that good about how much we sent at Takato, given how threatening Ignacy is. I kind of just wanted to alpha Ignacy. Just be like, all right, here we go.
Yeah, I'm gonna just block one of the guys.
One of the saplings.
Yeah.
And then hope that like Tana plus Timda, the life gain plus extra blockers get you there. That's kind of what my instinct was, but obviously I don't have access to what Lisby's hand is.
Shalai once.
Activate Shalai
2
once.
green left.
2 green floating.
Okay.
These will have +1/+a counter. I'm just gonna jump with that.
So I believe the Crom is blocking the.
Blocked with the Crom. I think that's okay. That's fine with me.
The Crom is blocking the Tana.
Vanish. So, because you just blocked with just the Timna, right? And then so my Tana's gonna just die.
Tana just dies from the Crom block. Timna is going to eat the other Timna, 3 life gained. Some other things are going to get through and allow Lisby to get a single card.
7 to Taka. And then
No, he's gonna get 2 cards because 2 1/1s went out of whack.
Okay. Really?
So it gains 3.
There's a lot of blockers. I guess you just block one.
No, he can't block with a bar. He's just keeping the Aboros back on there.
Interesting.
I thought I would get those, maybe put the second Shiba back to the command zone, but I guess not.
And now we're looking at Lisby only collector is a blocker right now and 13 life left. That feels.
Maybe Lisby did he draw yet, or maybe I was incorrect and everything.
I mean, he just drew 2 cards. He just drew 2 cards.
Okay, he just drew 2 cards. Okay, I missed that.
Not a lot of cards to work with. A lot of mana to work with still, even after spending 6 to activate Shalai and letting 2 float away. Just nothing. No play at all, and no
Same
play for
question.
Magnassi either.
No play, left yourself open with
There's
a
a tainted
Kodama.
pact out. He and Trimneck went and got a tainted pact.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
we
it's
know
crazy.
Ignacy has a
Basically.
tainted pact. Not instepping tainted pact would make me think you don't plan on casting tainted pact at all.
With Donkey.
3
Okay.
damage. So I'm gonna attempt to move to draw.
Mhm.
Draw step for Ignacy. Okay. Well, this has gotten really interesting.
But even if we did a tainted pact there, we can still do it here and try to
So
win.
damage 6.
Assuming there's a Thoracle in hand. Assuming Ignacy has Thoracle. If
Let's do-
Thoracle is not in hand, then I'm curious as to why we
Basically,
grabbed
Paramount,
Tainted
6, 6,
Pact.
6.
Maybe we don't have Psych Rift either, and we're just trying to get Psych Rift with it, but you'd have to potentially go past so many cards to make that happen. Whereas you could just Mystical Tutor for it, which is what we did.
We can pump it one more
I
time.
think
Cast
if
Mystical
we,
Tutor.
and I guess if we did Mystical
understand.
Tutor, we put the target on our back for the Alpha Strike. But I think that's just, and that didn't happen, so you get to go through an extra loop.
Maybe we
Well,
can
if
find
you-
something like Odawara, but once again, I feel like Odawara, having a tutor for the Odawara is the same as just grabbing the Rift. So maybe we already have the Rift. And we're looking to use Tainted Pact as our follow-up post-Rift / Deluge. This looks like potentially Deluge is the one we have. And it is.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have DRC trigger.
All right. So we do have the Deluge. That one's going to hurt.
That's on the trigger.
Because you need to
But
pay,
still-
I think you paid 7, so make sure we killed the Shalai. I'm sorry, 6 to make sure we killed the Shalai. Because it can go up to
Yeah,
6
the-
toughness.
And the Kodama. Boy, this Kodama.
You wanna know
All right.
So we cracked the Dalty here, correct?
Force of negation.
I mean, if you have nothing else, yeah, because you're going to lose it anyway. So you could crack it and fight.
So the only problem is if you crack the Dalty, you release Takado.
Right.
If you
But
crack the
Takado's not
Dalty-
working with a ton that we know about right now anyway. So it's unclear how threatening that even is. It's not like face up a problem.
Potentially,
I'm also stopping the
right now, if he gets this through, it just
I
basically.
mean, if you're
builds
Lisby
for
and
turn.
nobody else has anything and no intent to interact with it or anything like
Has
that,
the
yeah, I
Ranger
mean,
Captain
you're
gone,
cracking Dothy
you
to
can do
counter
whatever you
this,
want to
right?
do
Like
with
there's
Dothy and the Ranger
there's no
Captain.
fight back. Nasty can't have
Um,
anything to fight
yeah,
back.
you
You
lose-
have
I
Vexing
think-
Trisha anyway.
If this goes
Right, you lose
through,
too much off your
don't
board. I
think any
think
of us
I
are
like
doing much.
cracking the
If
Dalty
it goes through,
and
I
have
feel
the
like
board
it's
figure out how to
free
deal with Takado.
reign to.
There's still the
Tutor,
Ranger Captain, right, on Takado's board.
Well,
So if this resolves, Takado cracks the Ranger and try to win.
Yeah, yeah.
Assuming he
And maybe
has
you wait for
something.
that. Maybe you just say Takano crack the Ranger Captain. And Takado's like, nah. You're just like, okay.
Yeah, no, the resolve. Yeah.
Yes.
Nah,
This
the
is a tough
Ashani way.
position.
You're so nasty. You're so
He
nasty.
doesn't have to target, does he?
Oh
It's under
Okay.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. Yeah, that's right.
So once again, this deal is just for 6. So even with the Shalai pump, everything dies. And also, I mean, obviously, he just gets Kodama too, which out of whack cannot catch a break.
It's tough out here. It's tough out here for Auto.
That's really tough out here. And as you predicted,
It doesn't lose
Dothy
any, target.
gonna
Sacrifice
get
and,
cracked.
I choose.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it
Yeah,
chooses.
if it resolves, when it resolves, you can decide.
If it
the card.
resolves, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm sacking Dothy.
Sacking Dothy. That's
I
happening.
choose a card.
Bam. Dothy sacrificed.
So
Ability on the
here's
stack.
thing, though.
Responses.
So listen up.
If you're Takado, do you crack Ranger Captain now?
No.
I can crack.
So you don't know-
right
you-
now,
'cause
if
it does-
I
the
do
Dothy does a
response,
target.
He's gonna assemble Thoracle.
Right, but I mean, it's not Lisby's turn, so it's just like whatever you're gonna cast doesn't work.
Oh my
Yeah.
god, I'm so stupid. So
There's
sorry.
a deafening silence. That's why I wasn't worried about it.
Yeah.
See, I'm more worried about the next turn than right now, though, which is my whole point.
Yeah, because the definite silence still has him checked.
4 plus
So even the Tainted Pact doesn't work. So the Dalty being cracked gives Takado a window.
Right, which is kind of why I want to crack the Ranger Captain, right? Stop. Basically, be like,
Yeah,
yeah,
but
just
he's already
let it all
stopped
happen.
forward.
Let the
But he's
deluge
already-
happen.
So you should check.
Okay, so what
So-
card could he have also? It would have to be
That's a possibility.
Deluxe
You'd have
of
to like Wish
Otawara.
Claw for
Ranger every time
Otawara,
you
but I think we
kill
run out of mana.
regardless, Then you should sack your ranger.
Right.
Right?
And even if we have Otawara in hand,
Because
we'd have to
Deluxe
cast
is gonna make
Otawara
anyway.
now before we
No,
lost
I'm not
the
thinking you can just
the
let's say
crop.
if you
No, yeah, because you're unlocking
you're
Mana
gonna
Crypt.
end up
So you'd
using force
use
to
the
negate
Mana
it,
Crypt to activate Wish
then
Claw.
I don't have to
Go
crack
grab
Ranger,
Otawara.
and if
You have like the
Otawara
one
is
floating
bad, then
plus,
I'm not thinking
Ancient Human, an extra
Deluxe.
land to like fire that off. But then you're a colored source
Yeah.
short
Sure.
of just
Curious
Thoracle
about
plus
what you
Tainted
got, and I
Pact.
want that
We
to
also
be-
don't know what else is in hand, right?
Right. I
We
mean,
could
yeah, there's a
also-
ton of unknowns here
Yeah.
with all the players'
Sure.
hands.
So I guess that's the out. So I guess yeah, you would crack the Ranger here.
All right, you want me to crack this right now?
Yeah, I want to crack the Ranger
I know I'm
Captain
not
if I'm
doing anything just
Takata.
now, so I don't want him.
I want
Crack
A,
the
I want
Ranger
this
Captain.
deluge to resolve because I want this oof gone. B, I don't think it's getting better. I don't want Ignacy casting more spells, and I certainly don't want Lisby casting a counter spell because I want Lisby's board dead.
Okay.
So if we
fine.
crack the Ranger
But I say
Captain, we have to
choose
respond to
A
the
and then get a
trigger
card with it, right?
and then cast a
Okay.
spell.
Yeah,
Because
you
we
respond
have
to the
mana
Dothy
wish
activation and crack Ranger Captain. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
how I'd want to do it. Unclear if that's exactly what happened. Both players kind of just moved their cards to the graveyard,
Can pick for Dusty, but I don't think there's anything.
but it
So
looks like that's what happened.
So I don't think it matters.
So you could choose like a flash creature if there's like an opposition agent or something. That'd be actually a
Let's
really
just
good
get
card to
let's
have.
just get a
No,
judge.
it's
Let's just
We
get a
keep
judge.
walking it back.
All right, we're back to a Dothy Ridge. I love this. It's like I don't know if you play much on Magic Online, but there's a card. I guess there's a card. Never heard of it before. It's Lion's Eye Diamond. When you sacrifice it on Magic Online, you throw your whole hand in the trash can, right? Well, you can undo that action. So you can just like sit there and throw your hand in the trash and pick it back up because it's a mana source. That's what it feels like we're watching right now, just back and forth. Oh.
I say because okay, so the argument is
your Darcy's
what?
graveyard, that's
Don't
for
crack the
your
Dawson
cast.
because I have nothing to do.
You
Yeah.
announce your activation.
Don't crack the Ranger.
And I'm putting it back out here so when the judge gets here, I can explain what I did.
Okay.
Hi, the judge has gotten here, so please explain.
All right, we have a judge
Okay,
call, so
Cool, thanks, Judge.
probably
So
worth deafening
Ramirez
here
cast
to
Toxic
keep
Deluge.
the judge call from coming
Naming six,
through.
gonna wipe the board.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead. And,
Priority went around. Taka whacked past. I cracked my Dothy.
I'm gonna cut
So
the
Dothy says
audio,
sacrifice Dothy.
and then we will
choose
get
exile
an update
card
from the
from
judge
your
directly once they have all the
library,
information
cast
and
this
stuff
turn.
like that.
It doesn't turn
But yeah, the
Once
Dothy,
I
the Ranger
crack it,
Captain,
I can cast it, right? And
has just gone
Taka-
back and
Taka,
forth.
Sorry. In response, cracked Ranger Captain.
Yeah, because I think depends on how whatever the judge call is here and how this resolve matters how the rest of the turn goes.
Yeah, and we'll stay here for just a second. It should be a quick judge call, but if it's not, we'll cut out or whatever. But either way, I think that we're discussing exactly how Dothy's gonna work with the Ranger Captain, like choosing a card. When do we choose? Do I choose after the Ranger Captain, or do I choose when I put it on the stack? You choose obviously on resolution, and I believe that's going to be the long and short of it. Is what happened here is Lisby has cracked Ranger Captain. Takata responded by cracking Ranger Captain. I'm sorry, yeah, Lisby cracked Dothy Voidwalker. Takata responded by cracking Ranger Captain. Do I get to pick like a creature or whatever? And the answer would be yes to that, I think, is what we're talking about here. So you do need to choose a card on resolution. So you don't just get to be like, okay, I have access to everything and I get to just cast something. Like you see, I don't know, there's some cards that do that with like your sideboard or whatever, but like this particular case, you do need to actually select a card.
Right.
On resolution. But this only matters if there's like an opposition agent or something, right? Where like, here is a card that is not a creature that you can actually play on your opponent's turn because it's not Lisby's turn. So I can't really see the exile pile that well. I thought there might have been one, but I do not remember at this point. We've played a lot of Magic between now and then. But if there is, you would get an opposition.
I don't remember seeing a opposition agent. I know there was an Avon, but the Avon was controlled by Lisby. So I don't remember seeing a Dothy under Tregmek or Ignacy's graveyard or Exile Zone. Sorry.
Right. Yeah, and I think we're talking through that quite a bit. Is a lot of waving around Dothies and Ranger captains, what have yous. But either way, what I want to get back to, based on because like however this plays out is how it plays out. It looks like both things are going to happen. It looks like Ranger Captain is going to stop Lisby from countering this Toxic Deluge. I think when we get back to the long and short of it, it is really important for Takado, who we see has 7 cards in hand, to let this Toxic Deluge resolve. Losing only Skyclave Apparition and the Halana, having been through most your entire field, puts Takado in prime position with the Dothi now gone to start turning on some of the Protean Hulk tutors. And with 7 cards to work with, Artifact Mana works, all that kind of stuff. This is basically Takado's window finally. All game, we have looked at, the combo just not working thanks to this Dothi that's been in place since turn 2 or whatever, now finally being cracked. This is Takado's window. You're not really going to get another shot. Ignacy is going to be shut down by Ranger Captain basically no matter what happens. Not a lot of creatures worth playing after the fact. Maybe you try to redeploy Tymna or tutor for Dockside and then deploy Tymna, something like that. You can play a few creatures or whatever, but there's no shot I think Ignacy wins this game right now. We would have to have Thoracle with the Tainted Pact already rolled up right now and respond with Tainted Pact here, which could happen, I guess, but I don't think we would sequence like this leading off with Deluge if that's where we were. I think we would have seen a very different sequence from Ignacy if we had Thoracle to pair with the Tainted Pact already in hand.
I mean, I guess so, but I also think it's not that far. It's not that far-fetched to believe he still has those cards, right? At the moment,
there's still a deafening silence, right? But if he had those cards, he would have instep Tainted Pact. That's what we talked about before. You'd instep Tainted Pact to get around the deafening silence. Because then
right now the Tainted Pact is not online. Yeah. The Tainted Pact would be online now. Okay.
Maybe the times you don't do that are if you don't have any counterspell backup, because the reason to do all that way, A, is to make it all work. B, you could have counterspell backup.
Right.
You wouldn't sequence like this. Okay, we can probably join back in.
It seems like
the board was disgusting.
Okay, so we'll figure out.
I will then activate Wishclaw with the Mana Crypt.
All right, we are back. Wishclaw Talisman is going to be activated with Mana Crypt. Ranger Captain works. All the things are dead.
I bounced it, but no, but Lisby killed it. So it's going to be faster now.
It at 1, right? Yeah.
But now
All right.
wait 10 for it.
So let's see. What do we have that is a non-creature spell to get rid of
you're right.
deafening silence?
Who are you giving the Wishclaw to?
It has to be basically just Otawara, right? We do have an Otawara Soaring City. Any creatures that would get rid of it? Sidisi's Faithful.
Well, okay, but the thing is, why do we want to get rid of the deafening silence here?
I mean, if Ignacy had some kind of win, I don't know.
I'm gonna crack my Horizon Canopy in response.
Under the Ranger.
What are you confused about?
No, I'm just saying I don't see a way he could win under the Ranger Captain sacrifice.
Oh,
even
sure,
after bouncing the definite silence. I don't see a win.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't either. Which makes me wonder why we're activating Wishclaw. What are we getting?
The only card I could think we're getting is a Final Fortune.
Okay, sure.
Final Fortune.
Takado responded to Wishclaw Talisman with Eldamri's Call, which
so we can go get Oppo here because he doesn't.
Yeah, we have Mana Crypt.
Correct.
I'll be casting.
Oh, that's nasty. Wow. Okay, Takado, like we mentioned, he's in a good spot. He's in an even better spot than I thought. Yeah, there's Ranger Captain. I'm sorry, there's Opposition Agent. An Opposition Agent gonna get cast. Ristic card coming for Ignacy. No non-creature spells can be cast by Ignacy, so
correct. That's just resolving. Resolving with Sadness.
Ooh, this is so brutal. Every time we've seen opposition agent today, the card has looked backbreaking.
Real quick. 1, 2, 3.
I see a lot of people just like pulling this card in and out of their deck lists every time we see it. It's just incredible. Such a blowout.
I'll block them.
All right. So if you're Takato and you're opposition agenting Blue Farm, what do you like? Demonic Tutor? We get to go look at the hand. It is Thoracle. We have Thoracle Tainted Pact. What? Ad nauseum, Underworld Breach, and a Force of Will. We have Force backup.
Let me just take a.
Yeah, but nothing didn't work under the shusher.
No.
Can you?
Oh, I see. Wait, no, that doesn't matter.
Tell me what the 2 cards on the left. The 2 cards. I can't see well.
On the left, okay.
Ignacy, end of Lisby's turn.
Okay, that's a card.
Tainted Pact.
I think that's a
Get rid of most of the deck.
The land, yeah.
Untap Thoracle. What stops that play from happening?
No, I don't think anything stops that play.
Interesting.
Okay, and then.
Because
I wonder
definite
why Ignacy
silence
was so reserved to go for it. Dothy had a counter under it, right? A counter spell.
Yeah, so
and there's a
the
Vexing Shusher
Doth-
at play.
Okay,
So the Force
maybe
doesn't work.
the Tainted Pact doesn't work either. So if you Tainted Pact end step, you exile it. But maybe there's a hard counter under the
No.
in the Darcy pile. Maybe that's it. Oh, there's a pact negation, correct?
Then do the
But
Sure, but Pact kills you. I don't know if they'll actually cast.
Yeah,
You
I
probably talk
don't
about it
think-
casting the Pact. Yeah, there might be a Force negation though. I see a bunch of cards sideways for Ignacy.
yeah, but
Yeah, there's a
yeah.
counter spell.
If I were to cast Dockside, how much mana does it make right now? Not so much, right?
How much mana would Dockside make? 2, 3, 4.
Well, 3 if I give it to
Maybe if you give Wishclaw to Takata, which is a hard sell to do. So 1, 2, 3, 4. It looks like a Dockside makes 4. All right.
not
So
the worst, but not great.
not the worst at all.
We don't have a Saccolet in hand.
God, Ignacy's hand's so rolled up. Took a Dockside Extortionist, but I don't think Ignacy's gonna be able to punch it through. Especially that, I mean, that opposition agent is so backbreaking. Takata doesn't control Ignacy when it comes to giving the Wishclaw away, right?
No.
Okay. It's just while searching the library. Okay.
2, 1, 3, please.
So Ignacy still gets to choose who to give it to. And do you give it to Takato? There's no way, right? Like
There's no
the
way.
one treasure's not worth it? Okay.
Not with the dark side. Get the dark side. You give him also a DP for mana. No, I don't like that. I think you just give him the extra.
Yeah.
Do you give it to out of whack?
Oh, I mean, is there a reason not to? Is all
I don't know. Giving it to Lisby? I don't know. Those are all the options. I'm just trying to
No,
see
I
who
give
you're
it to
supposed to
all
give
the
this to.
His commander costs what, $1 billion?
Approximately, yeah.
Yeah.
Then I will play my land.
And it goes to Lisby after all. Okay. So the dockside count remains 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I'll chuck it. Just to
Morphic Pool is the land for turn,
And,
I think. That or it's a water grave. It might be the water grave.
For Phantasmal Image.
Yeah, I didn't want. I did not want to
Phantasmal
do
Image. That's a creature.
I mean, I have to do it.
It grabs the Oppo,
It's gonna be
which is now another backbreaking thing.
Oh, I would like to move.
Under under a Hulk deck.
Manacrip trigger.
But no,
I'll
you
scan
don't
it
get
first.
to tutor.
Yeah, we have a dockside though, so maybe we don't even need
I will
tutor
go to
yet.
my draw.
I don't know. If you make dockside make enough mana, then like you could just
Yes, a land.
That's still a lot of mana to naturally have the whole.
to
You're
Halana
still-
this thing away. Yeah, sheesh.
Yeah, that's still a lot of mana.
Okay.
That's a Halana plus play another creature. That's a
I'm
lot.
gonna do that.
Well, either way, I mean, Takato, we know has a dockside. We know we can cast that dockside using even just like mana crypt, right? It just lets you
Well, I
cheat the
guess
mana a little
can-
bit.
So can we play Halana first
Colors floating right now.
and then play as a dark side?
I'll cast
So we
the
can
dockside
kill the
first.
image?
Press the trigger.
Yeah, stack the triggers to let the dockside resolve first. We could.
Yeah, but then that's
Then we have to find a protein hole kill from there. Good luck.
Ooh.
Do you have any answers, Trim?
I don't.
Okay, I'm gonna crack my silent clearing to draw a card.
Crack silent clearing, draw a card, says Lisby. Not sure what we can have in
Trump
response
still
to
has
a
an
duck
answer because
side.
And force the
Trump
will.
has an answer because he has a tainted knife.
You're also
Oh.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, no, not with a deafening silence, right?
That feels
Okay.
I mean, maybe like Odawara or something. That's a tough way to do it.
I pass priorities.
yeah.
Does it ETB?
Yeah.
Duck side
Yep,
ETB.
it's 5, I think, right? So it's 2 from me, 3 from Lisby.
Yep.
3, 4, 5. Great. 5 treasures.
Look at you guys giving him treasures.
Oh, yes.
All right. So we have 5 treasures. Make that 9 total mana. No, there's 1 floating. So 10 total mana. Culling the Weak. Sacrificing.
I'll sacrifice.
Has to imagine.
Opposition
Opposition agent.
Trigger Ristic.
Have a card.
Gets a card from Ristic. Now we have 4 black, a colors, make that 5 plus 5 treasures is 10 plus 3 with 13.
Yeah.
I mean, we're going for broke here. This is, we're not paying for anything.
I'll use 2
Halana costs 6.
and a colorless.
I have to imagine we're not doing that.
Activated sleeper.
Activated sleeper. Let's get the text box on that one up.
That buys back the Oppo.
Flash. You may have it enter the battlefield as a copy of any creature in the graveyard that was put there for the battlefield this turn. It's a Phyrexia in addition to its other types.
Why did not do the dog side instead?
You have how many treasures left?
I have.
If any creature in a graveyard. Yeah, you're right.
Okay, so you have 5 still.
We could do the dock side, mix of mana.
I'm passing.
You
Okay.
paid, right?
Okay.
It's,
Yeah, I
what
paid.
did you pay, sorry? It's the colorless.
With the black.
Black from the Culling the Weak.
Okay. And
Okay,
you
so-
had colorless floating then, because...
Oh, that's being used to cast this thing. This is 3 mana.
yeah, but you still have 1 floating, right?
Yeah, 1
And
black
Culling-
floating.
Calling the Weak gives 4. So if you
Yeah.
wait for Ristic... Okay, yeah.
Yeah, colorless.
Okay,
2
you had
mana
colorless.
to
Okay,
cast
that's
this.
my question.
and-
Okay, yeah,
Okay.
go ahead.
All right, yeah, we're just talking about some mana. There was a lot of discussion there trying to figure out what's going on. Looks like we're talking about mana. Black floating is what is left. Paid for,
Activated-
perhaps you paid for a Ristic there?
Let me explain. Opposition
I
agent.
don't think he
is
plays
tapped,
for
So
Ristic.
this one enter afterwards. So this is the most active one.
Yeah.
Well, hurting out. 3, 4,
We're just
5,
hard
6,
casting Hulk.
7.
Protein Hulk.
I'll pay for it.
So the activated sleeper is what? Oppo?
You have 1 treasure left.
Uppo's the only creature that's died this turn, right? It can't be anything else.
Sounds like it's a Viserys here, possibly.
Yeah.
I wish I
The
had
seriously
that
doesn't
nuts, but-
do
Even
anything.
even if it's a Sackle, it still doesn't
Yeah, I
work
pass on that.
because there's an Oppo in play.
Right.
The thing is...
2 opposition agents means nothing works.
Yeah.
Magic players, we are at time in round. The current
And that's
player
time in the
final
round.
turn of the game.
Okay.
So Takado's going to get the
Oh.
last turn, or this pot is going to
Yeah.
come to a
You are
draw.
8 minutes
I
past
said
the
draw
game
either way.
Okay.
Because he cannot win through
So
this.
I have
It
to...
I mean-
has to be it has to be with free removal.
Say you still have the
It has to be
Snuff
free
out.
removal, target the
Right.
image.
Can't target
I have
that.
an opposition, I know, but...
Yeah.
I don't know if
And there's a force that we know about for Magnassi too, which is a big part of the problem, I think, for Takado.
Active. Yeah, because it's an opponent. When we're opponent.
Oh yeah, that's right. What am I smoking? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm
I was
stupid.
I was wondering why you looped
Okay.
it.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. I thought I was doing Giga Blame, but okay. But I don't have. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I don't have anything further. So if you're just gonna call it a draw. but-
And Takado said, yeah, I don't have anything further, so it looks like this pod's going to be a draw.
I think I had it on the
Dang.
turn, but-
Oh my.
A tough spot. And I don't think
I
this
had
pod
the medical
could draw and
outside,
put
and
anybody in
block
top
outside
16. So
the
this is going to be a
medical
pretty
work.
brutal beat. Maybe Lisby makes it, but I think some of the players in this pod are going to be locked out from that. So that's a pretty tough spot to be. But Lisby, someone we've seen a lot of today, I can imagine finds their way squeaking in, given that they started this round with 11 points. Going to 12 seems like it is very likely to be good enough to make it into our top 16. But what I can tell you, that's time in the round. What I can also tell you is that is also the last round of Swiss. So coming here in just a few short minutes, we're going to have our top 16 players. We're going to have those listed. And of course, you'll be able to see the deck lists once the tournament is all said and done. But I will be departing for the semifinals match. I should be back for the finals match where I believe Ashani's going to leave us. If you've been watching along all day, thank you very much for joining us. Make sure to follow, make sure to subscribe, support the Playing with Power channel so you can support. We can bring you more content like this. Thank you very much for bearing with us. You have 2 rounds of Magic left to be played today. The semifinals, the top 16 matches, and then of course, the final pod. That'll be coming in very shortly. Do not go anywhere. We will be back soon.